In this slideshow, I'm going to summarize the 4 types of quality inspection services. But before I do that, let's answer the question, why conduct quality inspections at all? Well, importers with Asian suppliers who are producing their products would be wise to conduct quality inspections independently. Your inspection will help you to confirm that the batch of products being produced is going to reach your expectations and those of your customers. Another way to think about it is, if you don't inspect your goods quality before it's shipped from Asia, how can you know that they're compliant, safe, and at the correct level of quality before they reach you in your country? Can you trust your supplier implicitly? Another good question to answer is when to inspect products. Well, actually, importers can use quality inspectors to go into your supplier's factory and check products on site throughout the production process. If products are inspected early enough, there are a number of benefits, such as avoiding production delays, also avoiding needing to pay for costly air freight to rush delayed products out to you, and also avoiding getting poor quality products back from your suppliers. There are roughly 2 categories that the 4 inspection types fit into. The first, those that catch problems early, and the second, those that verify quality before shipment. Here's a little graphic that outlines the 4 quality inspection types and whereabouts you're going to conduct those during the production and shipping process. So you can see that we start with the pre-production inspection, which normally happens at the very beginning of production or just before. Then during production inspection, and then later on, not long before shipping, the final random inspection, which is one of the most, if not the most popular type of quality inspection. And then finally, at around the time of shipping, the container loading inspection. Let's kick off by looking at the first inspection then, and that's the pre-production inspection. So what is it? Well, the pre-production inspection checks which raw materials or components will be used in your products, and it also examines and validates your prototype. Additionally, it can also focus on the processes followed as production starts to make sure that your supplier is doing the right thing. So let's break down the benefits. Sending an inspector early in the production process will push the factory not to delay starting production, perhaps in favour of another tempting offer that's just come in. Factories are often suspected of lowering their costs by purchasing substandard materials. That's great for them as they can cut costs and make more money, but it can be disastrous for you. For example, they might put the wrong chip in an electronic device which renders it unusable, or perhaps they might use paint which contains dangerous substances which could be harmful for your users. So by running this kind of inspection, Chinese factories are prevented from cutting corners and also not respecting your blueprints. So with regards to how they're meant to do things, you might give the example of patterns for cutting fabric are given to your supplier, and then the supplier modifies them to make the production process easier and faster for them at the expense of your quality. We've got another blog post specifically about pre-production inspections, so if you pause this page now and take down this link, you can follow it and go and look at that blog post. Visually, you can see when best to do a pre-production inspection here. So typically, you'd be looking at doing a pre-production inspection any time around when your supplier receives the materials they need to do production and when production starts, but just slowly and you're easing into it rather than right in the middle of mass production. So next, we're moving on to the second quality inspection, and that is the during production inspection. This inspection is also known as DUPRO. A DUPRO provides you with an understanding of product's average quality early on in the production process. It's best to do it once some finished products have started coming off the production line, but it shouldn't be done too close to the end of production. And the reason for that is that it's meant to alert you of any quality problems while you've still got enough time to put in place corrective actions on the particular production batch. So, what are the benefits? Well, if quality issues are found, what's already been produced in perhaps limited quantities might be reworkable, and for the rest of the batch, corrections can be made. So it gives you time to plan ahead and even to avoid delays, because repairs and re-inspections take a lot more time when you're dealing with the entire production run. We've got a specific post about DUPRO as well. Take down this link and you can read about it in a lot more detail. So when are we going to do our DUPRO? Ideally, you'd conduct this inspection in as short as possible time after the first finished products start coming off the production line, but leaving as long a possible gap between the inspection and the final inspection, which will be around the time of the end of production. So we're now moving on to the next types of inspection, which actually are more for verifying quality before shipment. And in this case, we're going to look at the third, and that is the final random inspection. The final random inspection, which can also be called a pre-shipment inspection, is the most common QC check. In it, an inspector will check product conformity, defects, and conduct some tests such as drop tests. It usually takes place in the factory once 100% of production is finished and at least 80% is packed. So it can be a real random inspection. And it also prevents suppliers from playing games, such as hiding defective products from an inspector. It's important to note that an FRI will not catch issues early, so importers should complement this type of inspection with a DUPRO to avoid any last-minute disasters. So the benefits of an FRI: it puts pressure on your supplier and gives more power to you. It confirms a shipment's quality in the factory before you pay the balance, and typically you'll pay the balance payment once an FRI has been conducted and you're satisfied with the results. At that point, the supplier ships out the goods to you. If you'd like to read more about FRIs, you can follow this link and read a thorough blog post. So when do we conduct this type of inspection? The inspection date should be at least 2 days before the X factory date, and that should be 1 to 5 days before the shipment date. And finally, we'll move on to the last inspection. That's the container loading inspection. In a container loading inspection, your inspector will check your fully packed goods at the factory just before and while they're being loaded into the container, but this is before they ship out to you. It's a last chance to discover issues while goods are still at the factory, and it will help put pressure on the supplier to load the goods correctly and with care. Benefits for importers are: it confirms your product quality, but it does usually focus on carton count and packing check. It assures conformity of interior and exterior packaging, container, and container seal. It assures that a precise loading plan has been followed correctly. So, for example, you might specify that some cartons are too fragile to be placed at the bottom, or you may have specified a non-conventional loading, such as hanging jackets on a rail in plastic sleeves. And it confirms that the correct products are being shipped out in the right quantity, which is particularly important if there are trust issues with the supplier. You can read more about container loading inspections in detail in this blog post too. So when do we inspect the container loading? Well, we'll inspect it after 100% of the shipment is fully packed and the containers are loaded in the factory. But we're inspecting it before the closing date and shipping. If you do need help with your own quality inspections, we can help at Sofeast. Pause this page and you can take down some of these links. If you follow them, you can learn about the different quality inspections that we provide to clients across China and Southeast Asia, and you can even get a quotation if you'd like. If you'd like more blog posts from qualityinspection.org, go follow our blog. And we do blog over on Sofeast too, and that's at sofeast.com/knowledge base. That's all about the 4 types of quality inspection services. We'll catch you next time.